Okay, we're on episode 3 now of the Momentous podcast. So by now you should see that I'm starting to get dedicated into this. Let's see how comfortable I am today in today's podcast. So is it worth it? What do I mean by that title? What do I mean by that question? Is it worth coming to LA to pursue your dreams? Is it worth coming to LA to be a part of the media industry? Do you have to come to LA to be a part of the media industry? These are the types of questions I get asked constantly. The answer is no. The answer is no. Is it worth it? No. For me, it is because I was born and raised here. So all I know is LA. Yes, I've traveled, I've seen other places, but the only reason why I love LA so much is because I was born and raised here. And it just happens to be the media capital of the world, or entertainment capital of the world. But when I get questions, like a lot of my followers are from India, from the UK as well. And when I get questions in my DM asking, hey man, I saved up this amount of money. Is it worth coming to LA to pursue filmmaking, to pursue YouTubing? Right now, no. I'm just being honest with you. It's not worth it. We have a huge homeless population. Rents are increasing. Home prices are increasing. Our interest rates are just out of whack. I luckily got in right before the pandemic hit at a mortgage of less than 3%. So I'm happy about that. But is it worth it for people currently looking at renting or buying in LA? I think it is the worst time to do so. Only do so if you can find a roommate. It is not worth it to be renting or living on your own in Los Angeles. Don't give LA County officials or the LA or California government what they want. And that is for you to be paying ridiculous prices. Do so with a roommate only. Because believe it or not, funds run out. In December, I was financially like, oh, shoot. Where did all that money go? So, yeah, November, December of last year was really, that was like, oh, God, what is happening to my bank account? Luckily, recovery is quick, and it has been all right. Could be better, but recovery is good. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier to you guys, money, people say money can't buy happiness, but yes, it can. Money can do so much for you. Money is a tool. It can make you happy. It can make others happy. You can buy people gifts and just show them regardless, you know the power of money. Okay. Overall satisfaction of living in LA, like I can't speak for myself because I'm going to say, yes, I'm satisfied living in LA because LA is all I know. But I'm just looking around and watching all these videos online about people's reactions to moving to LA, and most of them are depressed. Most of them hate it here. Just look at all the people who moved out of California, moved to Texas, to Florida. The cost of living there is so much lower. And, you know, my friend Kyler contemplated moving to LA. He decided that wasn't the best solution for him, so he moved to Texas. Kyler Holland, I'm sure you guys know him. He makes a lot of cool VFX videos on Adobe Premiere. So, yeah, he moved to Texas, to Austin. And right now, all of these places 10 years ago, it was just like empty. And now that people are moving to these places that are much more affordable and worth to live there, they're building out the cities. They're making them more popular. There's very little homeless compared to LA. It is freaking ridiculous. I live in an area called Woodland Hills, kind of like a suburb of LA. I was literally raised in Woodland Hills. I live probably 3 or 4 miles away from my parents. You would never see homeless people around here. Never, 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 never. You would mainly see homeless people in Skid Row, which is in downtown Los Angeles. It's about a 40-minute drive away from me. Skid Row was like the place for that type of stuff, and maybe a few parts in Glendale and Sherman Oaks, but Woodland Hills, nah. Now when I walk out of my home, literally 1 block away, there's tents everywhere. Tents. And it hurts. It hurts to see that, because the place that I was raised in, was, no one had to see this stuff. No one had to experience it. And now, because it's so unaffordable to live here, people are struggling. People are like, all right, I'm not going to conform to buying a house or renting. It's bad. However, opportunities wise, there's a hell of a lot of opportunity here. There is a lot of opportunity here. You just have to decide for yourself if you tend to make a living off of the internet, or if you actually want to go into production. So you have to decide for yourself, what do you want to do? You can be a filmmaker in both aspects. You can make films online. You can make films in person in a real production studio. And by the way, mind you, LA is not the only place where they make movies. They make movies in Florida and New York, everywhere. You just have to look. The biggest production companies are in LA, but there's a ton of other production companies scattered throughout the US, scattered throughout the whole entire world. Australia, India has Bollywood. I mean, if you live in India, try to look for work in your own area, because Bollywood is number 2 right after Hollywood. India is a huge entertainment powerhouse of a country. They make a lot of movies, a lot of content. So don't necessarily think that if you don't live in LA, you won't be successful as a filmmaker. Okay? You have the power to just pick up your camera and do stuff with it. And that's what I recommend that you do. In the beginning, I had no intention of making money off of YouTube. It just kind of fell into place. But if you have the intention, just imagine the power, the capabilities that you have. In the beginning, I had no intention of making money on YouTube. I had no intention of getting fame and all this and blah, 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 blah. Okay? In the beginning, I just wanted to put videos out there just to, educate 2 or 3 people on taking apart 2-stroke engines and rebuilding stuff and, that type of stuff. I had no intention. But you, the person that's watching me right now, most likely have the intention of creating this powerhouse of a business for media and all this production. If you have that intention, that drive, that motivation to actually put content out there, you will be more successful because you have that drive, you have that schedule. If I were to go back in time, I would have pursued YouTube a lot harder, with a lot more intent, a lot stronger intent. All right. Is it worth it to start YouTube today? Yes, it is. I am so tired of these big YouTubers saying it's not worth it. Don't do this. Don't do that. Fake asses. No, I'm serious. They fake. They just don't want competition. Start a YouTube channel. Do it. Do it. It is worth it at the end of the day. I promise you that. LA, not so much. Food prices, rent prices, mortgage rates. Mortgage rates is actually for every state. But in LA specifically, because of the cost of living, it's ridiculous. But I made a specific video actually, I don't know, 1.5 years, 2 years ago about my current living expenses in Los Angeles. Check out that video right here. That was what, I think 2 years ago. Numbers increased since then. I'm debating whether or not I want to make a new video of my updated expenses. Prices increased like 25% since I made that video. So, no, I mean, I'm not going to lie. A few nights a week, I go to bed and I'm thinking to myself, should I sell my place and just move somewhere? This is nothing that I was thinking about a couple of years ago. I had no worries. But I'm living in a place, one of the most expensive cities in the world, and now I'm seeing so many people struggle, so many people being unhappy. Everyone's being ripped off here and lied to. And I'm thinking to myself, shoot, like, this is not the LA that I once knew. I still love LA. Like, it's my, it's a part of me. But is it truly worth it? I mean, Josh from Make Art Now even, he left LA. That should tell you something. That dude is a professional, man. That dude was like a younger version of Ridley Scott, and that dude moved away. That's not good. And I know he loved LA, but he realized that it's just a ripoff to live here. And now I'm starting to understand that. I mean, he has a family, he has a kid now. He doesn't want his kid being, raised in LA. I understand why. I'm starting to understand why. I'm getting that, that older wisdom now. I'm starting to understand why. My dad is retiring. My mom is, in her mid 60s. Like, I understand they don't want to move around. They just want to stay put and enjoy their retirement. I get that. But for me, I'm 30 years old. I'm thinking about the future, which I don't condone doing, but at times you do have to think about it. It's always in the back of my head. And I'm like, damn, LA, dude, what's happening? For what I'm paying at my condo right now, I could be living at like a 6-bedroom house in Texas. Sarah Dietschy left New York for Texas. Kyler left to Texas. Where did he move from? I don't remember, but he left to Texas. It's sad. It's really sad that, you grow up loving your hometown and then you just look back when you're an adult and you're thinking again about whether or not it's actually worth to live in LA. Those are just my honest opinions. And I know some of you who are watching this podcast or listening to it are from LA. And I think you are agreeing with me that it is becoming an absolute ripoff and things need to change here. There is a really good channel I want you guys to check out. It's called Soft White Underbelly. And this dude, Mark, goes around interviewing interesting people around LA. He interviews homeless people, prostitutes, gangbangers. Like, I started listening to a lot of those videos and it just makes me get a whole different perspective of what it's like to actually live in LA. Thank God I've never had to actually struggle like any of those people, but hearing them struggle makes me question, is it really worth it to struggle that much to live in a place where it's actually not worth living? If my family wasn't here, I would have been gone. I would have left LA. I stay here mainly because of my family. That's the only thread that's keeping me in LA. I can't imagine living in a different state from my family. I can't do it. Maybe I'll muster up the courage eventually to do it, but as of right now, They're the only people that are holding me back from leaving. I probably would have left to Texas and probably got a house near Kyler. That's probably what I would have done. I was also talking to my friend Kitty at Tola Visuals. We were talking about like rent and how everything is so ridiculously expensive. She loves LA, but I think she's also starting to kind of second guess if it's really worth living here. She's coming from San Francisco, and that place is even more overpriced and more of a ripoff than LA is. But LA is catching up pretty quick. I think if not, it's more of a ripoff to live here than in San Francisco now. So yeah, we were talking about it. I mean, she's even been questioning whether or not she wants to stay here. I mean, we've been exchanging like texts and stuff. We're like, hey, what if we bought a big ass YouTube house in like Florida? People want to live here mainly because of the weather. And yeah, I love 75-degree weather every day. But there comes a point where it's like, is it really worth it? Man. Is it worth it to live in? Let me sum up this podcast, okay? Is it worth to live here to be in the entertainment business? No. You can start your own entertainment business. You can do jobs remotely in the entertainment business. And I'm pretty freaking sure most of the time you will be able to find entertainment work or media work in your state where you live. Maybe not in your hometown, because some of you come from a very small hometown, but in your state, I promise you, if you look hard enough, you will find the job that you want. Hold off from moving to LA right now. Hold off. Maybe I'll make another video when I think it's the right time, but I don't think, not until 2025, maybe late 2024, would I recommend coming to LA, because interest rates are still going to be going up. Rent's going to be going up. The economy is going to get way worse. I promise you that. Give it 6 months and you'll start seeing how bad the economy is going to get. I think this is the worst time to move to LA. The worst time. All right. So wait until late 2024, early 2025. Let me make a follow-up podcast to this. And hopefully it'll be a good time to move to LA when prices and everything drops. Look at what happened to Tesla, by the way. They dropped prices by 20%. That's a great thing. That's a great thing for the consumer. So I hope that down the road, that will happen to a lot of other things that we're paying for, because I mean, interest rates are going to slowly go down, but they're still going to remain pretty high. But I think rent prices will drop. Just wait. Just wait. Things will change. But right now, stay where you are, or if you still want to move to a place like Texas, or places where it's actually affordable to live. Okay? And just stay there for a bit. And you'll be surprised what you find there. You really will. Those are my genuine thoughts about if it's worth living in LA, if it's worth starting a media business. I think it's just not the time right now to move to LA. How many times I have to say that in this podcast? But yeah, I appreciate you listening. Hopefully this has been enjoyable. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. Subscribe with the notifications turned on. I always got to say that. And by the way, I fixed, a few of you actually told me that I shouldn't be recording in stereo, which you're absolutely correct. So right now in Final Cut Pro, what I'm doing is I'm converting stereo to mono. So I shouldn't be going left to right in your speakers or in your headphones. So hopefully that is better. Let me know. Stay tuned for the next episode. This has been the Momentous Podcast, episode 3. I'll see you in the next one.